Yes, yes. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You are all welcome to this August gathering in the month of July. Mr. Abubakar, are you there? Mr. Abubakar. Imperial School of Management, you are welcome. Are you there now? Mr. Abubakar.
I think he has to unmute himself.
Yeah, unmute yourself, Mr. Abubakar. Unmute yourself. Okay, let me do it for him.
Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello. Okay, we'll let him.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
You are all welcome to today's August Intelligentsia virtual gathering in the month of July. It is an online induction of new members into the Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators of Nigeria in collaboration with African Institute of Strategic Managers. I want to believe that you can all hear me clearly. Registrar, sir, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. You can go on.
All right. This is an induction for new members into the Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators of Nigeria in collaboration with African Institute of Strategic Managers. The Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators of Nigeria being saddled with the responsibilities of training and retraining managers across all walks of life in order to bridge the gap between seasoned managers and administrators, not just within the 4 churches of Nigeria, but across Africa and beyond. And that has given us the opportunity of being the regulating institute overseeing the affairs of African Institute of Strategic Managers here in Nigeria, which is a body of managers across Africa. The institute is also in collaboration with other reputable institutions of learning within and outside Nigeria, such as Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators of Ghana, Chartered Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators in USA, and Imperial School of Modern Management, which is also an institution saddled with the responsibility of training managers for optimal organizational growth. The virtual induction we are having today is one of the challenges and the success that COVID-19 has brought to us in this part of the world. You all agree with me that before now, we don't really make fully utilization of the virtual platform in this part of the world where we found ourselves as a result of many challenges. But with the advent of coronavirus, we are now forced to carry out so many activities via the virtual platform. Even governance, court cases, birthday, wedding, and burial is being carried out online now as a result of restriction of people gathering. So before now, if we have really tapped into this virtual platform, I don't think by now our educational system or education sector will be in a situation where we found ourselves today. Starting from primary, tertiary, down secondary, down to tertiary education in this country presently now as we speak is under lock and key. They are all in comatose. That is because we have not fully utilized the virtual platform before now. But we are now forced, whether we like it or not, if we must continue with our life with the new norms, we have to adapt ourselves into the current changes that is facing the world now, which is the virtual platform that we have resolved to in carrying out some of our large gathering and activities as it stands today. So the Institute, without limiting ourselves or allowing COVID-19 to weigh us down, we decided to take the bull by the horn, whereby we now resolve to virtual induction for new members, so that those who have interest in becoming a family of these professional bodies will not have to wait until God knows when the vaccine or solution to COVID-19 will probably be gotten. So as a result of that, we now deem it fit that we have to change according to the current experimental dynamo facing us as individual and as a nation. So on that note, I want to congratulate those of you who have deemed it fit in order to seize this opportunity to be part of this induction via online, via the virtual platform. Ever since the advent of lockdown and the seriousness of COVID-19 in Nigeria, this very induction will be the 7th induction we are conducting virtually. 7th induction we are conducting virtually. So the Institute is not relenting. We are not waiting until the solution is being gotten. And we are also not denying those who have deemed it fit in order to to advance their managerial/administrative thinking as a result of COVID-19. But we have deemed it fit in order to encourage everybody, the general public, that irrespective of where you are, you can still get the same learning, the same quality of training that you are to get if you are to travel from your various locations down to the venue of the induction. That is why in other parts of the world today, those who have embraced the technological change before now, their educational system or educational sector is not suffering the kind of damages that we are facing in Nigeria now. So on that note, you are all welcome to IPMA Nigeria, and I wish to say congratulations to all of you all in advance. We are now going to start the program proper, but before we commence everything we are going to do now, we are going to start with prayers. And if we are starting with the Muslim prayers, we are going to end with the Christian prayers. And if peradventure we are starting with our Christian brethren, we are going to end with the Muslim brethren. So on that note, before we go to the introduction of all the participants and including our facilitators who are present with us, I would like to call on Mr. Umar Abubakar to give us the opening prayer. Please, Mr. Umar Abubakar, if you can hear me, kindly unmute your microphone and give us the opening prayer, sir. Unmute your microphone and give us the opening prayer. Your microphone is not on, sir. Please check your microphone at the left part or down part of your screen. You see a microphone sign there. Click on it to enable it. All right. It's like it's finding it difficult to do that over there. Please, Mr. Sani Yusuf, if you can hear me, please lead us with the opening prayer. Mr. Sani Yusuf, if you can hear me, sir. All right. Mr. Registrar, sir, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. If we are finding it difficult over there for those who have called to lead us with the opening prayer, we are finding it difficult from their end to hear them. Please, Mrs. Alebioshu Toluwanimi, please, if you can hear me, ma, can you unmute your microphone and lead us with the opening prayer?
Okay, let me allow participants to unmute themselves.
Okay, okay, please do that, sir.
Yeah, it's from my end. Okay, they can do that now.
It's now.
All right, all right.
Yes, yes.
Mr. Umar Abubakar, please go ahead.
Yeah. Are you hearing me?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Okay, good morning all.
Good
morning.
Saliu ala Nabi al-Karim. You say I should offer. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidul Majid. Barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim fil alamin innaka Hamidul Majid. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. سبحانك ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Amen. Thank you very much, sir, for that opening prayer. It is good in life, in whatever we are doing, we should start with prayer and also end with prayer. Yes. And that is why we are known as the most religious country in the entire universe. Irrespective of whatever challenges that is facing us as a nation, we still remain the most religious country on this planet of Earth. So on that note, we are going to take the introduction of all the participants, starting from my humble self. I am Yusuf Abubakar Sadiq. I am a coordinator, regional coordinator with the Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators of Nigeria, covering the Northern region. On that note, please, once I call your name, you are to unmute your microphone and tell us your name and where you are connecting from. You tell us your name and where you are connecting from. Let's quickly run through that before we go to the next item on our agenda. The first person on my screen here will be Mr. Peter Awe. Mr. Peter Awe, please, if you can hear me, tell us your name and where you are connecting from.
My name is Peter Oladapo Awe. I'm connecting from Remark, Igamu, Surulere.
You are welcome, sir.
Yeah.
We have Mr. Mohammed Suleiman.
Good morning, sir. My name is Mohammed Suleiman. I'm connecting from Asokoro, Abuja. Thank you.
You are welcome, sir. We have Mr. Issa Saliu Kantigi. Please, if you can hear me, unmute your microphone and tell us where you are connecting from.
Good morning, everyone. I'm connecting from Yaba, Lagos State.
You are welcome, sir. The next person here is Mr. Umar Abubakar. Please tell us where you are connecting from.
Good morning, all. I'm Umar Abubakar Mohammed, connecting from Gombe.
You are welcome, sir. We have Sani Yusuf. Please tell us where you are connecting from. Mr. Sani Yusuf, please, if you can hear me, tell us where you are connecting from. All right. We have Mrs. Alebioshu Toluwalonimi. Please tell us where you are connecting from, ma'am.
Mrs. Toluwanimi Alebioshu Christiana, connecting from Ibadan, Oluyole Estate.
You are welcome, ma'am. Mr. Sani Yusuf, if you can hear me now, please tell us where you are connecting from. Mr. Sani Yusuf, your name and tell us where you are connecting from, please. All right. We have Mr. John Mantu. Please tell us where you are connecting from.
Unmute now.
Yes, I'm John Mantu. I'm connecting from Jos Plateau State.
You are welcome, sir. We have
yes.
Fatai Tijani Afolabi. Mr. Fatai Tijani Afolabi, please tell us where you are connecting from.
Good morning, everybody. I'm connecting from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you very much,
sir. Also, we are having Abdusalam Bako. Please tell us where you are connecting from, Mr. Abdusalam Bako. Mr. Abdusalam Bako, please tell us where you are connecting from.
What about the speaker? The speaker is not showing.
Hello, please, if you can hear me, unmute yourself and tell us where you are connecting from.
Enable the speaker.
The speaker is enabled now.
Okay, it's okay now. Go on.
All right, Mr. Abdusalam Bako, if you can hear me, please tell us where you are connecting from. All right, we have Jerry Kwaptel. Please, if you can hear me, tell us where you are connecting from.
Good afternoon, all. My name is Jerry Papta. I'm connecting from Jos Plateau State.
All right, you are welcome. We also have with us the Registrar of the Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators of Nigeria, Dr. Abdullahi Jibril Saliu. He's connecting with us from Lokoja, Kogi State. Once again, you are all welcome. And the next item we are going on to now is the opening address of the Registrar of the Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators of Nigeria, who is also double serving as the country director for African Institute of Strategic Managers.
Let us give me like 5 minutes. There are people that cannot join. Let me see to it that they join. You can go ahead.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. In that case, while the registrar is trying to sort out that technical issue for those who are finding it difficult to join, I will quickly run through the opening address of the Registrar of the Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators of Nigeria, Dr. Abdullahi Jibril Saliu. And I want to believe that a copy of the speech has also been forwarded to each and every one of us. So while
they should go take the password and the email. They should go to a join meeting. How? They have our machine to join now. I join will authorize them. We're joining. How are you join?
Please, let's hold on to avoid that background noise. Let me. Registrar, sir?
Yeah. Okay. What is that?
All right. The speech, should I run through it or you?
Yes, yes. Go on. Go on. Go on.
All right, sir. This is the welcome address by the Registrar of the Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators of Nigeria, who is also the country director for African Institute of Strategic Managers, Dr. Abdullahi Jibril Saliu, on the occasion of virtual inaugural induction exercise of new members into the Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators of Nigeria in collaboration with African Institute of Strategic Managers. My Lord, spiritual and temporal, distinguished intending members of IPMA, I am indeed highly honored and privileged to welcome you to this memorable virtual induction exercise for fellows and membership into the Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators of Nigeria in collaboration with African Institute of Strategic Managers. This institute is registered under the Companies and Allied Matters Act Cap 59, Laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1990. I am therefore highly gratified at the response of many distinguished and eminent personages whose contributions and general understanding and conduct assisted in no small measure in view to elevating the Nigerian standard of work environment, compatibly our ability to improve in our day-to-day administrative and general management of our endeavor. It is in conjunction, therefore, with our modest approach of recognizing an individual or group of individuals whose earnest responsibilities are not cordoned by illusion or center ego on job performance and specification that today's activities is born. Creditably, our Nigerian managers and administrators are in enviable cadres and canopies all over the world. It therefore suffices to ascertain herein that this much celebrated achievement of Nigerian apparatus is geometrically based on talents of experience generated from convocations of this nature. One of the things that is not left behind by our leadership is the cognizance ability to honor outwardly deserving people due praises in their lifetimes and not accolades after their demise. It is therefore a center stage of this institute that a certified manager needs training and retraining in order to be abreast with fundamental experimental dynamo of administrative realities of the time. This, in other words, hasten to elevate the standard of one's ability in juxtaposition with work value anywhere in the world. It is therefore our honor to inform you that the prestigious direct professional membership of the Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators of Nigeria will be given to deserving men and women whose socio-economic lives outweigh fire. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here as clusters, which according to Porter 1998 are geographically proximate group of interconnected enterprise and associated institutions in a particular field linked by commonality and complementarity. The synergy driven from this network is what confers competitive advantage to cluster models of industrialization, which is bred from basic understanding as this. What we will gather today will be of immense use in actualizing our goals in our various efforts. Having membership of Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators of Nigeria and that of African Institute of Strategic Managers is a highly colored decoration as we are having synergy with reputable international fora as this. Members are therefore prone to professional training through meetings, seminars, conferences, and other related courses at minimal contribution within and outside Nigeria. Members are also prone to improve and develop the science of management in commerce, industry, and politics by maintaining investigation and research into the application of such entity. Members are equally given the secret of success in business and the study and practice of its ethical principle, with a mandate to raise professional practice to its highest. You are therefore entitled to a full color membership certificate given under the approval of the council. We are here together as brothers and sisters, for in that way will our mission statement be actualized. I therefore wish that we pay attention in our overall exercise, for we believe that Nigeria can be facelifted in general administration within our polity by many of us who are connected here today, even as our Nigerian brothers are helping other nations. While congratulating every one of you, Mr. Chairman, distinguished members of this platform, I thank you very much. That is the inaugural speech of the Registrar of the Institute and a country director for African Institute of Strategic Managers. And having gone through the speech, you all agree with me that presently what we are doing and the challenges that is facing every individual and Nigeria as a country, economically, across the world, is all encompasses in this speech. Because despite the challenges facing us having a large gathering, we have decided as a manager, as an institution, our members to always think outside the box in order to resolve to another means of carrying out our exercise. Coming into the institute today as a member will open you to training, series of trainings and retraining as a manager, because we believe that as a manager, you should be the last to be fired in any organization, and sometimes, according to our registrar, you die with the organization. In Nigeria today, what we are out to achieve is to be able to have series of managers who can think outside the box to enable Nigerians' own organization to grow beyond where it is now or where it should be. You all agree with me that in Nigeria today, no organization, either be it government or private institution, that has existed over 100 years. No private businesses. And all this boils down to the kind of management decision that is being made at the top echelon of every organization sometimes. A situation whereby you are trying to put a round egg in a square hole, definitely you are going to have a difficult challenges to crack. So here in this institute, we always encourage managers, administrators who should do things always as it ought to be. On that note, we will now move to the next item, which is the paper review on effective time management. And the registrar of the institute is going to take us through that. In the next 45 minutes to 1 hour, we are going to go through the paper which was sent to us and which serves as the theme of today's induction, effective time management. Like the saying always go, that time is money and time waits for nobody. We all have 24 hours in a day, but how can we utilize the 24 hours to our best or to the growth of our organization and to the betterment of each and every individual of us? That is what we are going to look into and review into in the next 45 minutes to 1 hour. Thank you all. Mr. Registrar, over to you, sir.
Thank you. You are all welcome to the induction of new members into the Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators of Nigeria from African Institute of Strategic Managers. I could remember when this institute started in 2009, and I was registered as number 001. I told myself then that when God created man, man was alone. And today, we have over 7.8 billion people across the globe, plus the addition of 7 million after the pandemic. That has been the projection. Please, you can unmute yourself now. You can mute yourself, please. Sorry. As a professional manager, we are like the hub that rolls the wheel. Without us, all other managerial functions are useless. We are the last to be fired in any organization. At times, we die with the organization. That is why, as professional managers, we must have the little knowledge of everything. We must have the little knowledge of everything. We should be able to administer the resources that are scarce optimally. That is why, as a professional manager, you must have the little knowledge of everything. The theme of today's induction is on effective time management. But before that, I would like us to understand who the first management consultant on earth was. Who can tell me who the first management consultant on earth was? You can unmute yourself and tell us, please. Who was the first management consultant on earth? Who was the first management consultant on earth? Just unmute yourself and tell us. Who was the first management consultant on earth? Hello, one house, please. Who can tell us who the first management consultant on earth was? Okay, let me allow participants to unmute themselves. You can do that now. Who was the first management consultant on earth? Hello? Okay, we don't have to waste much time. Let us go on and the first is there in the Bible. The first man that gave advice that has to do with all modern and traditional functions of management is Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses. He came and met Moses operating as a one-man manager, just the way some of our managers are still behaving till date. 365 days, no leave, no transfer. You see them running from pillar to post. It makes them to wear out easily. When they get home, they become useless to their family. So when Jethro observed the way Moses was running things, he cautioned him that, look, why don't you choose among men leaders? Teach them laws and ordinances. Let them be adjudicating over lesser matter. Why, Moses, you should be there giving approvals. That advice turns out to be the first advice given by the first management consultant on earth, Jethro. You can see that you are taking care of all the traditional and modern functions of management. Planning has been taken care of. Budgeting has been taken care of. Staffing has been taken care of. Leading has been taken care of. Coordinating has been taken care of. The post-corp. Today, we still have some people operating as a one-man manager. They don't delegate functions to their subordinates. 365 days, they are in the office. No leave, no transfer. So that is why it is good to understand how to allocate resources. And you cannot do that alone. We are talking time management today. If you are the type that you are operating as a one-man manager, how do you keep to time? The organization will suffer. A lot of things will go wrong. And many things will be counterproductive. Let us learn so many things in line with the advice given by the first management consultant, Jethro. As a professional managers, we are like the hub that rolls the wheel. Without us, all other managerial functions are useless. That is why the moderator earlier told us that as managers, we are the last to be fired in any organization. And at times we die with the organization. That is why you must allocate, you must manage the resources that are scarce optimally. That is why you must understand the aims of management. Please, I want this session to be an interactive one. If you feel to ship in something, you unmute yourself and give signal. Then you will have the floor. Because we are here to learn from one another. You must manage the resources that are scarce, like that of men, machines, money, materials, methods, and the market. If we take that of M, the first M, which has to do with the men, as a professional manager, you must understand the people that are working with you. Get the right people to do the right job. A square peg in a square hole, and putting a round peg in a round hole. You must understand that. You don't have to operate based on what we term the grandfather-father-son relationship. Man, no man. As in the case of Nigeria. We are always putting it's like we are always putting a round peg in a square hole and a square peg in a round hole. How do you achieve results in such an environment? Many things will go wrong. That is why if you must work on time, the people working with you must you get them based on merit. It doesn't have to be on a grandfather-father-son relationship. Meritocracy should be a watchword. Get the right people to do the right job. Because money cannot go to materials to purchase. And materials cannot go to machines to produce without the M that has to do with man. Then the second M, you also have to look into, as a professional manager, is your machines. The machines has to be in line with modern specifications. We're in the 21st century now, and you are still using machines of 14th century. Machines that are archaic in nature. How do you expect to beat deadlines? How do you expect to meet targets in such an environment? Your machines has to be in line with modern specifications. We're in a world of competition. Your competitors are not going to bed until you are already sleeping. You always have to do what we call benchmarking. Things that will give you comparative advantage over your competitors. They are always watching, sniffing around to know where you go wrong. And they will capitalize on that and push you out of the system. We're in the world of competition. Whatever you do, you must do the right thing first and all the time. Total quality management. Your machines must be in line with modern applications. Always sniff around to know what others are doing that you are not doing. Add value to what you are doing. Then the third M, which a manager has to manage, is that of money. An Igbo man will say, go. While Hausa man will not joke with his kudi. Oh, I believe it's not only them, it applies to every person on earth. We don't joke with money. Even the Bible mentioned it, that money answereth all things. It is also there in the Quran, in Surah Al-Kahf, that al-malu wal-banuna zinatul hayata dunya. That money and children are also the beauty of this world. That is why the Companies and Allied Matters Act of 1990 stated that all information that will assist users of financial statements in assessing the viability, liquidity, and profitability of a company must be stated in a clear, logical, and understanding manner. For who? Users of accounting information. In every business, we have what we call stakeholders. The providers of capital are there as stakeholders. Providers of capital, they are there as stakeholders. Government is also there as stakeholders. The business itself is also a stakeholder. And the employees. The employees are there for salaries, wages, and other personnel costs. To whom much is expected, much is given. The providers of capital, they are there for salaries, wages. The providers of capital are there for their dividends and interest. Government is also a stakeholder for tax. The business itself for maintenance and expansion. That is why, as a manager, you must understand the flow of funds in and out of your enterprise, how the cash is generated and utilized. Since the Companies and Allied Matters Act of 1990 stated that all information that will assist users of financial statements in assessing the viability, liquidity, and profitability of a company, which must be stated in a clear, logical, and understanding manner. Another stake resource which you have to manage as a manager is that of materials. Materials. We are in COVID-19 now. Most countries are in total lockdown. If you are the type that your materials come from Europe, America, or China, how are you going to cope? Will that be the end of the beginning or the beginning of the end? It becomes a case study. And that is why, as a professional manager, you must manage a M that has to do with your stock level. Because many companies are in problems now. Many cannot survive this pandemic. Many businesses have been closed down due to these unforeseen circumstances. It's an external factor. It's what we call macro environmental forces, which you cannot control, but you can analyze as a professional manager. Understand the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. If your goods, you are the type that they bring in, like one company yesterday, where we buy animal feeds from. We were told that they can no longer bring corn from Brazil, from Argentina, for over 3 months. It was then I got to know that we are farming nothing in this country. Imagine, if you have to wait for corn to come from Argentina before production, then we are in trouble. Because there, that is where they have the real mechanized things, not the ones the peasant ones we do here. Imagine most of the feed mills now are in trouble. Go to the market now, that you want to buy gari or fufu now, you cannot get it anywhere because they are trying to analyze and use substitute alternatives. Whereby if they cannot get corn, cassava will go for it. And by so doing, to the layman, you excuse me, you can no longer afford to buy your gari or buy your fufu, and also many other things will be escalated. It will skyrocket in the market. That is why under materials, you must understand the stock level in the warehouse. As a professional manager, we have 3 stock level. There's maximum level, there's minimum level, there's a reorder level. The reorder level is the level which you must not allow stock to, is the level in which you must always initiate action for fresh supply. You should have a point. If it is 1.00, that is your standard, by the time your materials get to 0.5, you should be able to replenish your stock. Not the situation you allowed it to come down to 0.2. That shows you have a problem already. If something like the corona pandemic should come unannounced, then that will be the end of your company. That is why you don't operate at a minimum level. The best is that of reorder level, which is the level which you must always initiate action for fresh supply. We are talking time management. By the time you will get at the reorder level, you will beat up with demands of your customers. But when you operate at below that 0.2, then and something like this pandemic, natural forces, micro-environmental forces, the uncontrollables should attack. That will be the end of your enterprise. Many of your staff will be sacked because you can no longer meet up with the expenses. You may be in the state of insolvency. You become a bankrupt. An official receiver will be appointed to come and understand why you are in the state of insolvency. Because you will be in the state of insolvency when you can no longer pay for services rendered and you can no longer service loan obtained. Then an official receiver will be appointed to understand why you are in that state. Is it as a result of your recklessness or carelessness in your management of affairs, or as a result of forces beyond your control? Many companies have reached that level as at now that we are talking. The other time I was made to understand that many people have been sacked, even from Dangote company, group of companies. Many have been sacked already as we are talking now. If that can affect such a big conglomerate, then what will become of somebody that is just learning how to walk? So we are in a serious problem. And that is why it is your duty as a manager to understand the stock level in the warehouse. Are you operating at minimum level, maximum level, or reorder level? But the best bet is for you to operate at the reorder level. Always have a benchmark of when to replenish. And by so doing, you meet up with time. You produce the right quantities, you supply at the right time, you meet up with deadlines, and the sky will be your starting point. But the situation where you are operating at maximum level also, maximum level is also bad because you tie down your capital. It's the level whose stock should not be allowed to rise above. If your capacity, you can take is 1.00 and you are going at 1.5, it shows that you are tying down your capital, increase in the cost of warehousing. It could lead to leverages, breakages, and what have you. But the minimum level is also level which you must not allow your stock to fall below. Just like when you are supposed to replenish at the other level of 0.5, you allowed it to go below of 0.2. Any little distraction can push you out of the company, out of existence. Because it's the level which you must not allow your stock to fall below. When you allow that, it can lead to idle production, loss of goodwill, loss of customers. It can even lead to the end of your organization. And by so doing, as a professional manager, time management becomes meaningless. You're already distracted. Everybody or your competitors will now hammer on that. Your customers will now move out to your competitors. And that could be the end of your organization. Not everyone that goes out that will return back to you. There is a way of grabbing those ones that they will remain loyal to the company they have rushed to. So you start all over again, which is not good for your enterprise. We have discussed men, machines, money, and materials. So let me not go out further. At least it's better we come back straight to the theme of today's induction, which we are doing review on. Because the video was sent earlier, and now we have to at least brush over what we have sent to enable us to have our inductions. We are looking at these areas like to understand what time management is, time management principles, reasons why time management is important, the 4 Ds of time management, and we must understand that the SMART or SMARTER acronym, every delegated task that has to beat the deadline must be specific, it must be measurable, it must be achievable, it must be realistic, it must have a time bound which can be evaluated and reviewed. We'll go into that to understand that too. Then time mapping, and we'll now conclude for the day. So now let us take it one after the other. As the moderator earlier put it, that we have equal amount of time. That is 24 hours per day. As such, good time management is about making the best of the time available to you. This also means using your time to help you attain both your short-term and long-term goals. Stress is a huge problem in this society, and being in control of your own time is a sure way of helping you manage the stress you face every day. Knowing what you are doing and when, then having enough time to do each activity will go a long way to help you reduce stress. Managing time effectively entails analyzing your goal. For you to manage time effectively, you should be able to analyze your goals. What are your goals? You have to understand that. Breaking those goals into tasks. Breaking those goals into tasks, you break them into tasks. What is to be done? Is it achievable? Is it realistic? Does it have a time bound? Anything short of that, it shows that the whole thing is dead on arrival. And then prioritizing those tasks. You have to prioritize your task by understanding what is important and what is urgent. Take note, because we are coming back to that. In managing your time, you should be able to understand what is important and what is urgent. This isn't always easy or clear-cut, given the number of tasks you may need to complete. But if you set clear and measurable goals and then develop an effective to-do list, you will find prioritizing your many tasks is easier. And in the end, you will manage your time better. This paper focuses on ways to prioritize your workload. It discusses how to prepare a useful to-do list and prioritize the items on it. The course also outlines how to sequence and queue tasks to help improve your time management. It also describes how to estimate time frames so you can schedule your tasks effectively and meet your deadlines. Time management is useless. The the minute your schedule is interrupted. For you to plan your time very well, avoid interruptions. Time management becomes useless the moment your schedule is interrupted. Once you are interrupted, you allow yourself to be distracted, then you'll be confused. There is no how you can meet up with the task at hand. Our productivity is often affected by short-term distractions, such as ideas, obligations, and interruptions. To have stress-free productivity, we need our minds to be clear and relaxed. Most people neglect important things in their life while trying to accomplish their day-to-day goals. What is time management? Excuse me. Time management refers to the way that you organize and plan how long you spend on specific activities. You can see it is just straightforward and simple. To me, it should even be self-management, because there is no how you can manage your time when you cannot manage yourself. You have to manage yourself first, and all other things will take place. So, that is the way and manner you organize, plan how you spend on specific activities. If you are going to, maybe you are leaving Sokoto to Abuja and you have a meeting tomorrow, the way and manner you plan from Sokoto to reach Abuja before tomorrow's meeting shows how good you are at managing your time. Not leave it, at least you avoid rushing. You live on time, you plan what is to be done, you organize and prioritize. Time management isn't just about getting things done or being productive. It's about focusing on meaningful work to do. You have to focus on meaningful work to do. Focus on what is to be done. You may be busy, but not meeting up with the actual things that need to be done. Busy and doing nothing. You have to focus on the meaningful things. That is why you must understand what is important and what is urgent. You may be working from morning till night, but you have not done the urgent task. Time management becomes useless in such situations. It may seem counterintuitive to dedicate precious time to learning about time management instead of using it to get on with your work, but the benefits are enormous. When you manage your time very well, there is greater productivity and efficiency. You do things sharply. You get things done at the right time, accurately and timely. A better professional reputation, you'll be known for straightforward, steadfastness. Less stress. If you plan your time very well, there is no how you can be stressed, because you plan to free up more time to enable you to explore, go into the unknown, increase opportunities for advancement, hit your target and look for opportunities, greater opportunities to achieve important life and career goals. When you fail to manage your time accurately and judiciously, then you start missing deadlines. Missed deadlines. Inefficient workflow will set in. Poor work quality. There's no how you can make things right. You start rushing because you have not organized and you have not prioritized what is to be done. Poor professional reputation, people will not know you for what you stand for. Higher stress level. You're always rushing. Let your case not be like that of Moses, because he was operating as a one-man manager until he was counseled on what to do, to get men and teach them laws and ordinances to be adjudicating over lesser matter while he was there to be giving approvals. The modern and traditional functions of management has to be taken care of. Spending a little time learning about time management techniques will have huge benefits now and throughout your career. This course is all encompassing. When you learn, there are so many skills that you get to understand today, and it will be there for you at the time of your needs. So we'll now move to the principles. Time management principles, which is the second point on our list here. Let me go straight to the principles. You can't make up for lost times. You can only do better in future. Are you struggling to find time out of daily hustle and bustle of your life? That is the question. Does your 9 to 5 work life takes up all your time? Or are you pushing all your chores towards the weekend and then to next week? If yes is the answer to all the above questions, you probably need to manage your time. Time management is a very important skill that most people would like to improve on. You must improve on your time management. You must improve by having a well-to-do list to organize and prioritize. Understand what is urgent and what is important. So let us go straight to the principles of time management. The first is that of a principle of planning. Principle of planning. We all understand what planning is. You must plan to understand the outcome. You must plan for future. Your mission and the vision statement must be known. Planning is important no matter what you do. Take a few minutes in the morning to plan your activities for the day. For you to manage your time effectively, you must plan your activities for the day. In the morning, you should be able to say, to this month, today, I'm going to do this. From so-so hour to so-so hour, this is what I'm going to do. From 10 to 12, this is what I'm going to do. From 12 to 1, this is what I'm going to do. Then from 1 to 2, at least you go on break to enable you to come back stronger and better. Then you plan. When you fail to plan, you plan to fail. When you fail to plan, you stink. And when you stink, you sink. You must understand where you are now, where you are hoping to be, and how to get there. You can also use various personal planning tools to plan and organize your schedule. These tools include calendars, wall charts, notebooks, electronic planners, pocket diaries, and index cards. List all your tasks and schedules so that you can focus on your priorities in your planning tool. You have a good to-do list. By so doing, you should be able to understand that this is urgent. Management is out to get this now, and the important ones you followed up. If you don't plan where you are going, there is no how you will get there. The whole task will be dead on arrival. The second principle of time management is organize and prioritize. You can see after the first one, you plan what you are going to do. The second is telling us to organize and prioritize. The most fundamental premise of effective time management is differentiating what is important and what is urgent. Note that the most important tasks are not the most urgent tasks. The problem is most of us let urgent tasks dominate our lives, but experts suggest that though both urgent and important tasks can be done together, one must first focus on the urgent ones followed by the important ones. Focusing on what you want to accomplish will give you full control over your time. You must understand where you have deadlines. You go straight and meet up with those tasks. Then followed by the important task. But don't procrastinate, because when you procrastinate, you suspend something to a definite, an indefinite period. And that important task will become urgent tomorrow. And it becomes a problem. You start running helter-skelter to meet up. Because you are not good at managing your time. One should be able to organize and prioritize. You plan what is to be done, have a to-do list of all your schedules. Then you now come up with organizing and prioritizing by identifying those ones that are urgent and those ones that are important. The urgent one first, please. Then the third principle is the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule is what we call the Pareto principle. The 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto's principle. The 80-20 rule, when applied to work, means that approximate 20% of your hard work produces 80% results. So you should focus that 20% on making the most effective use of your time. It is simple. This is the principle of Vilfredo Pareto, which is known as an Italian. He was an Italian, which is known as Pareto's principle. The 80-20 rules. 80% effort produces 20% result. And it applies to so many things. You can see that the first is to plan what is to be done by having your schedules. The second is to organize and prioritize. And the third principle here is the Pareto principles, known as the 80-20 rules, which suggests that 80% of results come from 20% of the effort put in. This is commonly used in sales, as 80% of sales typically come from 20% of the customers. You can see that even when you are doing marketing online, you may end up having like 10,000 people impression, and out of that 10,000 impression, maybe only 2,000 will click. That 2,000 is your 20%. That is the effort, the 80%. And that 80%, where you get 2,000, you may end up having 20% that will respond at the end of the day. So Pareto understood that perfectly, and is trying to tell us here that 80% of results come from 20% of effort put in. When it comes to how you should manage your time, this principle can also be applied. 80% of your result comes from 20% of your actions. Then the fourth principle is telling us to do one thing at a time. Do one thing at a time. Don't be multitasking. Do one thing at a time. Do one thing at a time. Don't be jack of all trades. That is why you must organize and prioritize. Having planned what is to be done, you now organize and prioritize. You must understand the important ones and the urgent task, then what is they are telling us here is that we should go straight and do the important ones, the urgent tasks first. Having completed the urgent task, then you can now start doing the important ones. Don't procrastinate those ones. Do the urgent ones first before coming straight to the important ones. If you are the type that want to model up everything, by trying to be multitasking, you will have a problem. By the time you want to model up that of the urgent and the important ones together, you start making mistakes, errors here and there. And there is no how you can meet up with deadlines. Management will come on you. It becomes a problem. You must explain why disciplinary action should not be taken against you, because you can no longer meet up with deadlines. We all try to do too much all at once and end up achieving almost nothing. The people who try to accomplish multiple goals at a time were less dedicated and had a fewer chances to succeed than those who keep themselves focused on a single goal at a time. Successful people concentrate on just one thing at a time as far as possible. When we try to be multitasking, task at hand takes more time and we become less productive. As we feel pressured, we start thinking about other unimportant things. So one at a time. Then the fifth principle of time management is telling us to avoid distractions. Avoid distractions. Those friends that will distract you from not reaching the end result, cut them off. Even it is here in the Bible that if your hands will cause you sorrow, cut it off. So you can see that there are distractions here and there. The best thing is to avoid them. If you allow yourself to be distracted, then time management becomes meaningless. It becomes useless the moment you are distracted. Don't allow yourself to be distracted. You have to be focused. Avoid distractions. You sit at the desk with determination in mind to complete a task, no matter what. As you turn on your laptop, you notice a friend's message on Facebook. It happens. You start seeing friends a lot, notifications here and there. These things that will distract you. You have to put down, do away with those things. As you turn on your laptop, you notice a friend's message on Facebook or text on your phone and forget about that important task. Distractions happen and it has to avoid them. It's really challenging to stay focused on the task for hours at a time. But the practice can help you achieve the same. First, identify internal or external distractions. You must understand if the distractions you must understand the micro and the macro factors here. That is the internal distraction could come from within. Among your colleagues, there could be somebody that may not want you to meet up with deadlines. Do away with those people now before it becomes problematic for you to handle. And there's other ones also, like the friends. So many other things. You have a deadline to crack, and you are moving from one social gathering to the other, which has no bearing to the task at hand. Your company sent you to US for a particular job. Instead of you to cooperate, you are now moving from one sightseeing to another. It will become a problem at the end of the day. Because remember, we are coming back to the SMART or SMARTER acronym. Any task that has to be achieved on time must be specific, it must be measurable, it must be achievable, it must be realistic, it must have a time bound which can be evaluated and reviewed. Common tips to avoid distractions. Put down your phone. Put down your phone. Constant unscheduled phone calls and messages are common distractions. It is in Africa here, you see people, if you resume work of 8 to 5, or you are in the office, that you allowed your phones to be ringing, distracting others too. It becomes a problem. You are receiving calls here and there. Somebody will resume for a job of 8 hours and he may end up using 3 hours to receive calls, to chat friends and colleagues, which is not supposed to be so. That is why in the advanced world, they don't allow your personal phone to be working. There's if anything that has, it must be reasonably, wholly, and exclusively for the organization. The official line will be there to interact officially. It has to do with the business or what is to be done. But here, you can forget the substance and start chasing shadows. And that will be, you will be distracted. And meeting up with deadlines will become useless. Put down your phone, switch off your mobile phone, and forward your work phone to voicemail. How many of us know how to do that here? I'm also guilty of this. There could be distractions. But before I started this presentation, I made sure that I put my phone on silent. Some people have put their own on flight distant mode. Put down that phone. Make sure you check your, close your web browser also. If you must avoid distractions, close your web browser. Admit it that you are into social media, as there are serious distractions. Gather your willpower. Log off your social media profile and close down the screen. Because you cannot serve two masters at the same time. You must do one thing at a time and avoid distractions. Wear headphones also. Headphones. If you work sitting in a cubicle, wear noise cancelling headset to make the world a quiet and peaceful place. It is not good for your phone to ring to distract others in the workplace. There are some phones, you don't allow them to ring. There are some what do I call it? Some Chinese phones. Although it is getting better now, unlike before, where a Shinko phone can distract the whole people in the office. Because the ringing tone is something else. It can wake the dead. So that is why you have to wear headphones. You have to conceal that noise. Make the world a quiet place. Take a break. Short break, if you feel getting distracted by something, there's no how you continue working. Working without trying to rejuvenate yourself. From every interval, you must take a break so that those things that will distract you, do away with them instantly. You get refreshed. Just like when you are traveling and you have to drive about 10 hours drive. If you keep on doing it all at once, you may end up having problems. So the best thing is that based on what I normally do, every 2 to 3 hours, I will stop. At least refresh yourself, stretch yourself, you become stronger and better to continue. But if you stay put there, you want to meet up with that 10 hours drive before you open the door for yourself, then you may not even get to your destination. That is why all work and no play makes one. So it is so. Avoid distractions. Then the principle number 6 is to delegate, delegate, delegate. You can see now, just like the story of Moses told earlier, he was doing things alone. 365 days, no leave, no transfer. He was not delegating to subordinates. And there's no how you can get the end result. That was when Jethro observed him that, look, if you continue this way, you wear out easily. You get home and become useless to your family. So you must delegate. Delegate to those you feel that can handle your job. By so doing, you free up time for yourself. You explore into the unknown and get better things done. Effective delegation begets effective succession plan. When you delegate to subordinate, those subordinates will be happy doing your job. They will be happy and aspiring to be in your position by the time you will no longer be in the organization. Effective delegation begets effective succession plan. Delegation means identifying if some of your tasks can be handled by others and assigning those tasks to someone else. It will free up some of your time that you can give to other core activities. Select appropriate persons who can assist you by sharing your responsibilities in the most possible way. They should have appropriate skills, interest, experience, and authority required to accomplish the task. You must get the right people to do the right thing. It's like putting a square peg in a square hole and a round peg in a round hole. Don't delegate to people that will mess you up. That will result to you coming back to do the job by yourself. And by so doing, there's no how you can meet up with deadlines. Time management becomes useless. That is why you must delegate to people you feel that can handle the job. Those that have been working with you over time. Those that have the experience and exposures. Not anyhow person. You must have tested that person in such a way that you can trust his judgment. You know, it has delegation. It also has to do with the style of management. In Africa, we don't operate the laissez-faire one here because we have the laissez-faire approach, we have the delegative approach, which is a participative, and we have the autocratic approach, which is authoritarianism. The laissez-faire is not practiced here. You don't ask somebody to go and do something when you are not sure of that person. You are not sure of his judgment, and you want him to perform magic. You ask him to go and do something on your behalf and go straight ahead and submit to management without you vetting it. That will become the end of the discussion. So you must understand what is happening. That is why we cannot practice the laissez-faire approach here. But the delegative approach begets management by objective here. And management by objective was propounded by Peter Drucker. He believes that everybody must come together to decide the way forward for the organization. And management by objective begets management by commitment. Everybody will be happy that they are part of the decision-making of the organization. And by so doing, they will work as if there will be no tomorrow. They will be happy to contribute their own quota. That is when you bring everybody together on a round table and ask them what they feel about the job. At times, the person you thought that is useless in the organization will be the one to bring the best ideas. That is why you don't underrate anybody. You believe that everybody is important in the organization. From the cleaners up to the managing directors, board of directors, they are all important. If the cleaners fail to clean the venue of the meeting or fail to clean the office, there is no how it will be conducive for the superiors to perform their duties. Time management will become meaningless. There will be distractions. The important and the urgent tasks will not be achievable, will no longer be realistic. It will not have a time bound, and your evaluations against the of the actual against the standard will become useless. That is why the Peter Drucker propounded the MBO, bring everybody together to decide the way forward for the organization. And it begets by commitment. Then the other style, which is that of autocratic style, is we call that authoritarianism, Machiavellian approach. That is when you are no longer interested in the process, but the outcome. You ask somebody to go ahead and do something, how you go about achieving that is not your fucking problem. You just want him to do and let him go ahead and achieve results. An autocratic style, an autocratic manager is not interested in how you go about doing the job. What is interested is what you have achieved. But in between all this, should a manager, which style do you think is suitable for a manager to operate? Somebody should unmute and tell me, please. At least I want to, let me hear you people one by one. What style is appropriate for a manager? We have the autocratic style here. We have the delegative, the participative style, and we have the laissez-faire, though the laissez-faire is not practiced in this part of the world. But which do you think is appropriate? Which do you think you can use? Some people will tell you that, okay, let me allow participants to unmute themselves. Some will tell you that it's not good to be autocratic. Some will tell you it's not good to be this, it's not good to be that. Which do you think is appropriate?
The participative, sir.
Yeah, participative, please. Concord.
Okay, Concord. Participative only.
Yes.
Okay, because autocratic.
Yeah, because you know, it gives them the feeling that they belong. So
Yeah.
just like you just mentioned.
Okay. What if?
I think it depends on the context.
Okay, somebody said it depends on the context. That is the situation you are in.
Yes.
Okay. Then some are telling us that is it good to be autocratic alone? Some people want to be naturally wicked.
It's not always good.
Because some people may want to be naturally. Some people may want to be naturally wicked. If you grade them good money,
nature of the assignment. The nature of the assignment.
If you grade them
might
good money,
require you to be autocratic.
Yeah, if you ask them good money, they will ask you what is good about the money.
Because he himself is under pressure to deliver.
Okay.
The autocratic and democratic one together. It depends on the job you have at hand. At times you have to be autocratic, you want things to be done, depending on the officer that you are dealing with. Most of the time, let them participate. That gives them the sense of belonging that it is we are doing.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Also reminds us of the carrot and stick approach.
Okay. When you beat a child with the right hand, you now draw him closer with the left hand. So thank you. At least it is good. You can now this thing put yourself. Well, except you want to ship in one or two things. That is when you can do that. So it is the General House. I've stated their position. A good manager should be a situational manager. You don't have to, you must not stick to one particular style. Either to be autocratic or to be participative. If you have enough time to play with, you can decide to use a participative approach because you have time to play with. Mr. Adesola, you can put yourself, you have raised your hand. What do you want to tell us? So if you want to be participative, you can, it's when you have enough time to play with. That is when you can use a participative approach. When a job is important, but not urgent, you can use a participative approach. But when a job is urgent and you need to, you have a deadline to crack, the management is on your neck, breathing down your neck, then there's nothing wrong with using a Machiavellian approach. You cannot use a Machiavellian approach. That is why you will no longer be interested in you no longer be interested in the process, but the outcome. So that is why they are telling us the principle number 6 here, that we should delegate. And the delegation is good. So the 7th principle here, keep yourself healthy and stress-free. Because by the time you delegate to your subordinate, you have a good to-do list. You have planned what is to be done. You have your to-do list. You have organized and prioritized what is to be done. Then you are able to delegate to your subordinates that will help you out. Then there is no how you will not be healthy and stress-free. So you'll be very stressed. This thing, you cannot be stressed in this situation because you are free of time. Your health will not suffer. Unlike when you want to operate as a one-man manager. Then principle number 8, we should learn to say no. Learn to say no. Always learn to say no. You can see the diagram there on the paper. No, N-O, capital N-O. Learn to say no. When you want, not when you want to say no, you start saying yes. You are killing yourself. You have to say no in the language that will be understood. Don't be arrogant about it. You give explanations. Tell your superiors that I'm overwhelmed already. And if you want me to take up new responsibilities, new tasks, it means that the urgent task will suffer. Except if they are trying to tell you that the urgent tasks are no longer urgent, but important. That is when you can accommodate that task that is now urgent. Learn to say no. Unless something truly important comes to you, practice saying no to the tasks that you feel pressured with. Instead, save your energy and concentration for the activities that are important for you and you enjoy doing. Being a yes man or woman can lead to you getting too much on your plate and becoming overwhelmed with work. This does no good for anyone. You will be stressed and your manager will most likely complain about not getting the work done on time. You can see that. If you are a yes man, when you are supposed to say no, you say yes. Your manager will definitely complain about not getting results from you. And what will that entail? Because you cannot tell them no. You cannot say no. Except something comes up. That is when you can say your no can be yes. If that important task, that the urgent task that you have at hand is no longer urgent, or you have a subordinate who can handle the job, you can delegate out to that subordinate. But if you are the alpha and the omega, you are the one that must do them, then you should at least do one thing at a time. If not, the end result may suffer. Know that it is perfectly okay to say no to tasks you feel overwhelmed by. Then the 9th principle, make realistic schedules. Your to-do list you have done in principle number 1, you have planned out, then which you have organized and prioritized, must be realistic. It must be achievable. It must have a time bound, which can be evaluated and reviewed. Then we'll now move to the 3rd item on our agenda here, which is the reasons why time management is important. Let us just talk that area. Reasons why time management is important. Reason number 1, improves your self-discipline. If you are able to manage your time accurately and timely, then you get things done on time. You'll be very, very efficient and effective. And by so doing, it improves your self-discipline. It improves the quality of your work also, because you have understood the urgent and the important task, and you have understood how to delegate. You have understood not to be multitasking. You have also learned to say no when you are overwhelmed. Then there is no how that the quality of what is to be done will not be improved. Winding down is also essential. After every interval, you have to, between work, family, commitment, and running errands, most of us don't get enough time to rest. If you want to have enough time to unwind, relax, and prepare for the following day, good time management skills are essential. You need to know how to organize your work time and your break time to recuperate mentally and physically after a long day's work. That is in Japan, we have what we call the 888 formula. The 8 hours is for your paid employment, office work. Another 8 hours for your PPs, private practice. And the last 8 hours for family, friends, and time to rest. So you must have your to-do list. You don't rub one for the other. Your 8 hours work, you make sure that your to-do list has to do basically, it has to be realistic, it has to be wholly, exclusively for the office. You get things done accurately and timely. Then the other 8 hours for your private practice. The very day you start working should be the day you plan for your retirement. Even as a civil servant, you must have your PPs. You must have something that will add value to the traditional income. At least you work on something. Like the civil servants are allowed to farm. You can be a farmer. Why? And the farmers now, they are not controlling the world. You can see that the next set of millionaires will come from Green Revolution. We already have them around. Imagine where you forgot to farm now, you are able to put in something and you know what it entails. The other day, I bought a rubber pent of Gary at 1,000 naira. If you are that local farmer that has up to maybe 1,000 buckets of that 1,000 of Gary, you know that you are a millionaire already. No, farming is not easy. You must use the mechanized approach. If it is the time that you go and do it yourself, you wear out easily. And that may lead to the end of the discussion. So you have to, the 8 hours is for your PPs. You set up something, and I usually tell people that the very day you start working should be the day you plan for your retirement, because nothing is permanent. The most constant thing in life is change, and it's inevitable. Always have what we call option B. Have your option B as a professional manager. That is why as a professional manager, you must be a conceptual thinker. Always think outside the box. If possible, you shatter the box. Believe that impossibilities are possible. That is why in Japan, they have the 888 formulas. 8 hours for paid employment, 8 hours for PPs, private practice, 8 hours for families and friends. From that 8 hours, you can decide to have an hour for your friends. Oh boy, how are you doing now? What is happening? This and that. And a very serious person will not even have much friends. Like me now, for the past 10 years, I've been noticing that trend. I don't have more than 2 friends. And even those ones, we don't visit ourselves. You don't come to my house, I don't go to your house. We meet at whatever. and discuss our agendas. Because all work and no play at times makes one a dull boy. You have to freeze and unfreeze. So you notice that by at least the two friends I have, at least I should be able to use 20 minutes to discuss with them. That shows that we are discussing business self. If not, hi, how are you doing? How are you? Hope your people are intact. This and that. Okay, take care. That's the end of the discussion. But if you are the type that you want to have friends in Somolu, you have another friend in Jangbadi, another friend in Bariga, another friend in Okokomaiko, another friend in Agbara, another friend in... I'm using Lagos environment as a case study. Imagine if you are invited from Ikeja to Okokomaiko, and the way Lagos is now, with this rainy season, I believe you will spend up to 3 hours to reach there. And by the time another friend in Ekpe or Badagry asks you to come, you spend another 3 to 4 hours to reach there. Then if you are moving to Ikorodu, you know that there is no how time management can be useful. Time management becomes useless in this situation. Winding down is essential. Take like an hour for your friends and like 2 hours for your families. At least understand what is there. That is when Madam will be able to tell you that this thing is about finishing. This is what we need. The children's school fees and so many other budgets that will be taken at the home front will be executed. Then the children also, you now ask of what is done, what they have done in school, and so many other things. Out of the 8 hours, you have spent 3 hours. At least the normal human being, after 5 hours, you should be strong again to bounce back for the next day operation. Then you start planning. They start organizing and prioritizing the 80-20 formulas and all other principles to take place. Winding down is an essential. Principle number 4, it reduces stress. We have discussed that earlier. Number 5, it opens up new possibilities. If you manage your time perfectly, you go into the unknown. You bring in new ideas. You'll be more creative and innovative. Number 6, it helps your personal relationships, like the 888 we have discussed. Number 7, it improves your career. When you go into the unknown, you at least you free up your time. Then you can achieve so many things at the same time. Then number 9, you can accomplish more. If you delegate to subordinate, you accomplish more. Then it stops you from missing opportunities. Then let us go straight to the next point, because I've already exhausted the time given to me, but let's see what will happen the next 15 minutes. Then the next one is the 4D, the Ds of my time management. That is the Ds of time management. As a professional manager, you must understand how to manage the 4 Ds judiciously. The 4 Ds. Time management skills are increasingly important in a world where people rush headlong from one crisis to another. Add in the effect of social media and addictive computer games that can be accessed from anywhere at any time. And it's no wonder that some people struggle to fit everything into their days. If you are wondering how to solve this, why not invoke D? Invoke D to the power of 4. This quick and simple method makes sure you use your time more effectively by sorting tasks into 4 categories, which are delete, delegate, defer, and do. Delete, delegate, defer, and do. Those things that will distract you, you delete them. Those tasks that are neither urgent nor important, delete them. Any of your friends or anybody that will make you in the organization, that will make you not to achieve the end result, that will make time management becomes useless to you, delete them. The junks. That is why you can see the diagram there. When you see the S, the crossing sign, it shows that you have to delete. Delete irrelevant emails on your inbox, junk, or spam. Send them straight to the recycling bin. If they are cluttering up your inbox, for tasks that you will need to accomplish, double check if you still need to complete them. Take them off your to-do list if you don't. Any task that is neither important nor urgent should be deleted. That is what they are telling us here. You organize and prioritize according to principle number 2. And here now they are telling you anyone that did not fall into those categories should be deleted. Cross them off. Then the second D is delegate. We have talked much on delegation earlier. You delegate to subordinate to free up time. Delegate to those who can handle your job, those who can perform, not to those who will make you to start doing the job all over. And in delegation, we don't delegate our total managerial functions to subordinates, because it will make some subordinates to feel indispensable in the organization. They will use that to step on toes. And when you delegate, you also motivate. Motivation is not all about money, but to us as Africans, we see that as motivation. And some people, by delegating your tasks to them, they are happy doing it for you because they are aspiring to be in your position when you no longer be in the organization. Effective delegation beget effective succession plan. Be careful not to turn something you delegate into a boomerang that is going to hit when you least expect it. The worst pitfall of delegating is having to do double the work when you realize certain tasks have not been done well. Then the third D, which you have to invoke, is defer. Defer it. Any task that is important but not urgent should be deferred. The urgent task has to be accomplished first, then followed up by the important ones. But in trying to defer that important task, you have to avoid procrastination. Don't procrastinate. Don't defer it to such a time it becomes problematic to handle. To such a time that important task becomes urgent. And management will be breathing down your neck at that time. That is why, having accomplished the urgent task, then you go ahead and complete to start the important ones. If you defer to such a time that you can no longer, it becomes problematic, then if time management becomes useless. Then the fourth D is do it, just do it. The task that is urgent, go straight and do it. Don't waste any time. Because you have organized and prioritized your task. You have a to-do list, which is organized and prioritized. Then the urgent ones, go straight and do them. You don't defer those ones. But you can delegate to free up more time. That is if your subordinates are good. So just do it now. So let us move straight out of that. If you are a manager and you are able to manage your 4 Ds, then the sky will be your starting point. Be diligent with your work. Even when you start feeling stuck, it's easier to polish up work that's lacking than to force a perfect report in one run. As soon as the first task has been accomplished, move on to the next. Having more power over your itinerary is a great stepping stone towards managing your business more efficiently. Make sure you incorporate these 4 Ds into your time management strategy as soon as you start feeling overwhelmed. As soon as you start feeling overwhelmed by task at hand, remember that you have the 4 Ds to invoke. You can delete, you can delegate, you can defer, or do it. Then we'll move into the SMART acronym. SMART or smarter. Any task, delegated task that is not specific, it is not measurable, it is not achievable, it is not realistic, it has no time bound that can be evaluated and reviewed. It shows that that task is dead on arrival. A task must be specific. It must have a proper definition. what you are out to achieve, what is in it for you, what are your expectations, what is the management out to get, are the resources in parity with the set objective? You must ask all these questions. Is it measurable? What is the standard to enable you reconcile the actual against the standard, to see for deviations and how deviations can be corrected? Is it an achievable task? If it is something that is not achievable, then time management becomes useless. How realistic? If it is not realistic, forget it. Does it have a time bound? We are talking time management here, and you have a task at hand that has no time bound. That shows that nothing is happening. And all this must be evaluated and reviewed. That is why it has to follow the SMART or SMARTER acronym. Then the sixth point on our agenda here is time mapping. Time mapping. Time mapping. We can take it from our own layman's angle. Time mapping. You have a to-do list already. And by creating that to-do list, you're already working on, you are mapping out your time. You are mapping out what is to be done. Like here we have the 8-8-8 formula. The 8 hours for paid employment, 8 hours for your PPs, and another 8 hours for family and friends to enable you, and you also rest from there. If you don't map out your time, you will be overlapping one from one to another. You'll be trying to multitask yourself, and time management becomes useless. When you plan what is to be done, you organize and prioritize what is to be done, then you now map out, you have a to-do list. That to-do list is what we are calling, it shows that you are mapping out your time. In the to-do list, you now say, okay, on Monday, I will go straight and meet up, you have a meeting with all the senior staff, all maybe the middle managers, and tell them what you are expecting from them. And at least from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, you have a management meeting. From 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock, you now have you meet with, you treat all the files on your table. From 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, you interact with customers. From 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, then break. Then 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, then you go around the factory to inspect, to understand your aims. The men, are they doing the job? The machines, are they working perfectly? The materials, are they at what level? Are the materials at the moment? Is it at the reorder level, minimum level, maximum level, or what have you? Then your competitors, what is happening out there? At least from maybe this thing, at 5 o'clock you close. Then you move straight to your PPs. Between 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the night, at least you should be able to understand those that are managing your affairs outside the work environment. What is in it? What are they lacking? What is making them not to achieve the end result? Then you come back, take like 1 hour for your friends and relations. Then another 1 hour or 2 for your nuclear family. Then you take additional 4 hours to sleep again. Before you know it, it is another day, which you also have to plan for that day. Have your to-do list. So that shows that your time is mapped already, because it has to do with this thing. But it's not something that will be static. There should be flexibility in between running from one particular task to another. Anything will come up, but it is here as a guide to guide you on what to do. We can never get time back again. Unlike money, it is irreplaceable. Once it's gone for good. Even though there are many manuals and pieces of advice on effective time management, it is still a large problem for many people. This concerns freelancers and remote workers who work from home to a big extent. There are many challenges and obstacles to such a work, but effective time management is one of them. Time mapping serves as a great tool for effective time management. Yet, it is often mistaken for time tracking, when it has to do with it. However, time tracking can be part of time mapping if used in a proper way. So what exactly is time mapping? It's a map of your task, the to-do list you have created, either related to work or your personal life. That is the map of your time, the map of your 888. What to do around the clock is what we call time mapping. Time mapping can be extremely helpful in organizing time for emails, phone calls, meetings, amongst many other aspects of work which need to be done. How to use time mapping? Everybody has different priorities, and everyone can map his or her time in various ways. Either you are a project manager or an individual. It all works differently for everyone. Time mapping is a structured system, yet you don't have to strictly follow it. It is the map of the time. And if you are in a new area, you never follow a map in which precision to a mile is the same thing. It's the same with time mapping. You can see the diagram there. You can map your own time the way you want it, structuredly. It has to be done structurally. Moreover, you can treat time mapping as an exercise and not as an agenda, which will dictate your every step. For the beginning, you can take a piece of paper, a pen, and a different color of highlighters. To create a time map, you have to begin by listing your tasks, all of them. Those you do at work, as well as those you do at home. Then you should group them into different categories, such as work, private life, and most important tasks, and the least important ones. While creating a time map, it's important to ask yourself the following questions. How am I spending my time? Am I spending it the right way? What would I like to change in my work day? How would you like your day to look like? Is there any particular task you should pay more attention to? Once you made your time map, see how it works with your day. Make adjustments. The more you work with it, the better it works. Then the conclusion, the final point about time management is the concept of balance. Concept of balance. Concept of balance. You have to balance all your activities. For you to be great at managing your time, you must be balanced. You must balance your activities. Your to-do list must be balanced. The important ones, the urgent tasks, must be balanced first before balancing the urgent ones. You must understand the 4 Ds. That is to do, to delegate, to defer, and to delete. Always learn to say no when you are overwhelmed. You have to balance that. If not, you'll be stressed out and it will affect your health, which will be counterproductive. And the superordinate goals of your organization, they will not be achievable. The balance of time. The most important thing that you can instill in your life is balance and moderation. By practicing the methods, ideas, and techniques in this book, you will become a master time manager and have more time for your family and your personal life. Often people take time management programs so that they can increase the number of things that they can do on a day-to-day basis. However, as a wise man said, there is more to life than simply increasing its speed. The main purpose of learning and practicing time management skill is to enhance and improve the overall quality of your life. It is to increase the amount of pleasure and happiness you experience. As a professional manager, remember I told you earlier that you are like the hub that rolls the wheel. Without you, all other managerial functions are useless. That is why you must have what we call the 5 Ps at the back of your mind. Proper preparations prevent poor performance. You must be a conceptual thinker. Always be ready to think outside the box. Always be ready to ask questions. Any task that is given to you, ask questions. What is in it for you? And when you are overwhelmed, don't try to show yourself, or when your superior have delegated tasks to you, don't try to outshine him. You have to follow it up. The same channel. Don't claim that without you, nothing can be done in the organization. That is why we don't delegate our total managerial functions to subordinate, because it will make them to feel indispensable. You have to balance every areas. You delegate to other staff too, apart from that particular person you are using. You have to moderate whatever you are doing. And you that they are delegating to, don't see that as a yardstick to step on toes. So start telling everybody how intelligent you are. Remember the first law of the 48 laws of power. You can never outshine your master. If the master is still very much important, relevant, and is on ground, he can make or mar you. That is a Mafian, this. If you are able to combine the 48 laws of power, you read that. It is only those that have the fear of God that you read that and will not stop misbehaving. Especially when you combine 48 laws of power together with The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli. Then some people will become Satan after reading those things. Because that is where you learn every different style of the Godfathers. And they will tell you that hey, you can do everything. So I believe most of us have seen them. And there's also another book which I also want you to go into, Fools Die, by something Puzo, Mario Puzo. Fools Die. So as professional managers, it's not for us to be wicked, but at least we must understand all the moves, because we are working with people. And also, you have to be a good listener to your subordinate too. Be a good listener. A good leader should be a good listener. You counsel them from time to time. If you are able to make people to do things for you willingly, without coercing them to do that, it shows that you are a leader. They should be happy doing it for you. Make them to do things willingly without the use of force. Have your 5 Ps at the back of your mind. Proper preparations prevent poor performance. Proper preparations prevent poor performance. If you want a year prosperity, grow grains. That is a year prosperity. Grow grains. If you want 10 years prosperity, grow trees. 100 years prosperity, grow people. Thank you all. Thank you. Mr. Abubakar?
Almost from your side.
Yeah.
From your side.
Done.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation on effective time management. You all agree with me that he has done justice to the paper, effective time management. And after today, we we shall see the benefits and importance of managing our time effectively, and also what it takes not to be a one-man manager running 365 days, no leave, no transfer. And also in the course of the presentation, he was able to dissect a bit into the roles of a professional manager in a dynamic environment. That as a manager, you are supposed to have a little knowledge of everything, and you should be able to also think outside the box. And if possible, sometimes shatter the box so that you can see various options that are available to you as a manager. Because it is said that in this period of COVID-19, some of the organizations, the ability for them to navigate through rests on the shoulders of those who are part of their decision-making body. And the right decision you are able to dish out to your organizations will determine their existence post-COVID-19, or if they will also go down with COVID-19. Because whether we like it or not, as it is now, there is recession in the land already, and only God knows how long it's going to take before life will return back to normal. So a lot of challenges is outside there. And as a manager, how you are able to plan your time well, how you are able to manage to navigate through this unforeseen situation facing you, a professional manager. I want to believe that we'll have one or two questions to ask, either on the issue which we have discussed so far. It might be on the aspect of delegation, because that is where most people always have questions when it comes to delegation, because some of our managers today, they don't even want to delegate a bit. And just like the registrar said, it might be as a result that they are sitting on something which they don't want you to know. They don't want you to come and unravel what they have been covering. The oath taking, and I want to believe that we all have the copy of the oath sent to us. I want to believe we all have the copy of the oath with us, because you are not yet a member, not until after you have signed the oath form, you scan it back to us for proper documentation. Mr. Registrar, sir, if you can hear me. Your microphone is off. You are on mute, sir.
Okay, I'm back.
All right, sir. It's time for the oath taking, sir.
Okay.
After the oath, we'll now come back to the questions and contributions from the participants. Thank you.
Okay. This is the induction proper, the oath taking. The presentation was part of the pre-induction course. Now we are taking the oath. Those of you who are joining us as fellows today, after your degrees, you have to use the initials, FIPMA. Then the full members is MIPMA. The associate is AIPMA. That is for African Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators. Then the African Institute of Strategic Managers. For fellows is FAISM. For full members is MAISM. For associates is AAISM. So after your academic qualifications, followed up with your professional initials. Anyway, we see that, we understand that you are a family member. So after the oath taking, that is when you become a bona fide member of the institute. You can unmute yourself and you can unmute yourself.
I was in church. I said,
Let us take the oath now. This code of ethics and professional conduct describes the expectations that we have of ourselves and our fellow practitioners all over the world. It articulates the ideas to which we aspire, as well as the behavior that are mandatory in our professional or volunteer roles. Therefore, as a member of the Institute, I, your name.
I, Mohammed Suleiman.
Pledge. To conduct myself professionally with truth.
To conduct myself professionally with truth, accuracy, fairness, and responsibility to the public.
To pay my annual membership subscription.
Every January.
To foster the highest standards of professional competence among those whom I am responsible.
To foster the highest standard of professional competence among those I am responsible.
To enhance the proficiency and stature of the profession by acquiring and applying knowledge in the most appropriate manner.
To enhance the proficiency and stature of the profession by acquiring and applying knowledge in the most appropriate way or manner.
Knowledge in the most appropriate manner.
To participate in all professional development programs. so that one's knowledge and performance are enhanced.
Participate in all professional development programs so that one's knowledge and performance are enhanced.
To honor confidence received or given in the course of professional activity.
Honor confidence or given in the course of professional activity.
To comply with both the laws and both the letter and the intent of the laws of the country in which I practice and agree contractual obligations.
To comply with both the letter and the intent of the law of the country in which I practice and agree contractual obligations.
To cooperate with all organizations and individuals engaged in activities which promote the development and standing of the institute.
Organizations and individuals engaged in activities to promote the development and
standing of the institute.
To have a positive duty at all times to respect the truth and shall not disseminate false or misleading.
To have a positive duty at all times, respect the truth and shall not disseminate false or misleading information.
To abide by and to encourage others to practice the professional code of ethics of the institute.
To abide by and to encourage others to practice the professional code of ethics of the institute.
That I make this pledge in good faith and in accordance with the policy of the institute.
And I make this pledge in accordance with the policy of the institute.
So help me God. Congratulations. You can now congratulate one another.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Everyone.
Congrats.
Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations to you. Congrats.
Okay.
Congratulations, everyone.
Everyone. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yes, congratulations.
Congratulations to everyone out there.
Mr. Abubakar. Over. Mr. Abubakar. The moderator, we are waiting. Okay, question and answer session. You can text in your question. The chat button is there. Congratulations once again. That's in your, let us have your questions or contribution. If we can all unmute ourselves, then whoever want to ask question, or if you cannot chat, you can go ahead and do that, please. Let us mute ourselves. Mr. Abubakar is here now.
I have a question, sir.
Okay.
Okay, go on.
Under the principles of time management.
Yes, sir.
You said something about learn how to say no.
Yes, sir.
In a situation where you have a boss that always puts things to you and everything else at your table, and he wants you to do this thing personally, even though you want to delegate it.
Yeah.
What do you think one can do to say no?
Okay. Well, you have a boss.
Looking at the fact that the person you are talking about is autocratic.
Okay. That is why you have to be diplomatic as a professional manager. Your boss is autocratic and it's not the type that will want to know for an answer. So what you should do is that you have to be diplomatic. Make him understand you have an urgent task. He's the one that is aware of all the tasks. Make him aware that you have an urgent task to accomplish. And if you say yes instead of no now, this particular task will affect the one that is urgent. So that is why you always have to organize and prioritize. You identify those ones that are urgent and those ones that are important. So now that is the time that we want you to do the job personally, and you are overwhelmed already. You have to make him understand. Use the language. You don't have to be you should not take it up in such a way that it will look as if you are angry or you are this and that. You have to use diplomacy. Make him understand, sir, we have this particular task and this is the deadline. Except if he's trying to prove to you that that task is no longer urgent but important. That is when you can say, okay, you accommodate the new task and go ahead to do that. But if that task is urgent and another urgent one is coming, there is no how you can perform magic. So, and it's not the type that will allow delegation. Then you already have a problem. But communicate it to him in such a language that you understand. Let him know that whatever happens, it's not your fault. He will bear you witness. But if it's the type that they will be shouting you to go and do it, you can be stressed out if you continue such way, and it will affect your health. It is when you are healthy that you'll be there to work for him. So you cannot be a magician overnight. So let him understand you have been working with people over time. You delegate to those ones. But if he's saying no to delegation, then you communicate it in such a way that it will be understood. If it's not the time that this thing, you put it in writing so that the upper management will not come on you tomorrow. You should be able to stand and defend yourself. That look, I communicated and I told them this is what that you are overwhelmed already, and that was why you said no. But since it's not taking no for an answer, go ahead and work according to your own pace. But have in mind that your health is at stake here, and you can easily be stressed out. But you use diplomacy, which I believe that is not stone-hearted. So he will give you a listening ear, and you proffer or suggest the way out on what is to be done.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Can I ask another question?
Okay, go on, sir.
You spoke about 8-8 formula.
Yes, sir.
For people like us in Lagos that will put in 24 hours, 8 hours of work.
Yes, sir.
And you close maybe after 4:30, on your way home, you are hooked up on the traffic, or almost 3 or 4 hours. How do you engage yourself in the PP?
Yeah. At least one thing is that
to relax for your family with your family.
Yeah, we know that Lagos is an ideal situation. With what is happening, I was in Lagos before, at least up to 1999, 2000, I was a Lagosian. And what we do then was that You at times, if any day it rains like that, you are in trouble. So there will be hold up and every other things. But you have to be flexible. When a world of the whole world is now a global village. Even in between, one thing is that you don't have to be multitasking. If you are such a type that God has blessed you, you have come of age, and you have everything, you get somebody to, you can outsource some of your jobs out. You get a driver that will be driving while your brain will still be intact working. Anytime while you are on the go slow, you will not be thinking of how to meander. So you are at least with your iPad or a laptop or with your phone today, you can work. I was in Lagos last month when I was coming from Accra. I came by road to Lagos, and immediately from between my Badagry to Lagos to my this thing, Ojota, I spent about that hours, almost about 3 to 4 hours too. So what I did was that, and I have a marketing that is running on my phone. What I do, since I was not the one driving, I was working on the move. So you can, at least, we're in the digital age now, where most of the things can be done in such a flexible way that even there are some businesses that not even need your physical presence. You get the right people to do the right job. Then you monitor them, get their reports every interval to understand what is happening. And there is no way you can have at least 1 or 2 hours to manage that.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. Please, any other question or contribution? All right, go ahead, sir, Mr. Moses.
Okay, I want to very strongly and sincerely appreciate the Registrar, CEO, Dr. Jibril, Saliu.
Thank you, sir.
We strongly appreciate you for those very, very strong presentation.
Thank you, sir.
In my opinion, I think that Dr. Abdullahi Saliu, the CEO, Registrar, should actually go for a professor. Should be a professor, as a matter of fact.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sincerely. I noted that those points are well marshaled out, as a matter of fact. But there's a point that I need some clarifications.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, when you were talking about the 80-20 Pareto principle.
Yes, sir.
You did mention that it is killing. It's not really ideal to be a jack of all trades. And there's a particular phrase that was used, that you used, that is multitasking.
Yes, sir.
Now, as a professional manager, how do you balance? Being a professional manager and then the demand by your organization requiring you to multitask, and all that. How do you juxtapose and then
Yes,
how do you manage that kind of situation, sir?
Thank you for the wonderful, for the recommendation first. Thanks so much, sir. I'm happy. At least I'm contributing my little quota.
Yes, you should be a professor, sir. Professor Abdullahi Jibril.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
So thanks so much. At least the area of multitasking here is that they don't want a situation where you model up 2 things at the same time. So they want you to finish one first before going into the other. Like that is why you have a to-do list. And your to-do list is stating that you are able to identify, organize and prioritize. Because you have prioritized, you are able to understand the urgent task. Those tasks, like if you are in your office now, those tasks that need management want their report today or now should be taken as urgent tasks. You are going ahead, you get them the report, you do the doables. So that by the time they go for board meeting, at least they have something to discuss on. And the ones that maybe is coming in about a week time, maybe a project or program that is about a week time. You don't have to start rushing to do that project now, along with that one that is important, that is urgent. That one is important. That is why we told you that earlier I mentioned the Ds, the 4 Ds, which you can invoke in such situation. You either delete, you delegate, you defer, or you do it. That task that is urgent is what you must do now. Don't combine the urgent ones and the important ones. The ones that are important should be defer to another day or another period. That is why we don't want you to, the multitasking they are using in this palace is that they don't want you to bring that of important and urgent together. Since the urgent can still be done and submitted, there's nothing like a deadline on that. So do the ones that have deadlines. And the situation where 2 urgent tasks are clashing, that is why you have to, you must delegate. Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
I'm with you, sir.
Where 2 projects, 2 urgent tasks, where they are clashing, that is where you are asked to delegate. You delegate to a subordinate, somebody who trusts his judgment that can deliver. Not a situation you delegate to somebody and you end up, that person will fumble. You end up doing it yourself. It becomes a double task on you. So you can, a situation where if the situation will warrant you to multitask, where you have 2 urgent ones, you learn how to delegate to a subordinate to do one for you, then you free up your time to do the most urgent ones. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes,
so
sir.
thank you so very much,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Thank
for
you,
those
sir. I'm grateful.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any other question?
I have a question. I even raised my hand.
All right. All right. Please go ahead, sir, Mr. Sani.
Okay. My question is that, you know, as we are, more especially when you are working now every day, when you just switch off your hands, sometimes there is very important calls that one may need to. Don't you see that one can distract you too again?
Okay, when important calls comes in. Hello, come again, sir.
I said the question I asked is avoid distraction during our working.
Okay.
I understand the common tips you put. You say put down your phones for a period of time while working.
Yeah.
Due to the nature of our agency or our work, sometimes you see putting phone on mute or even putting it on mute. Sometimes it brings another distraction because you may have some very important call that you may need to attend even during the working. Don't you see that it will affect?
And that is why they advise that at every interval, you can create a short break. Like if those messages that have come in, maybe after working for like 2 hours, you can glance through. Or you conceal the noise so that you make the world a quiet place. Don't disturb others that are working with you or in a cubicle. So what you do is that you have a kind of headset. When anything comes in, you can glance through. If it is not important, you can forget about the person and continue with what you are doing. You are not around. Then later you can attend to them.
Yes, I agree with you because putting it off or putting it in a voicemail, sometimes, you know, these are people now, they cannot use voicemail. Yeah. Somebody may call, the phone may reply to him that you put the phone on voicemail, but he cannot use message. In
this part of the world, most of us don't know how to use voicemail. To me too, it's a new thing. It's theoretical. It's not practical. That is my own understanding. But what I do is that I put it on silent mode. Don't allow it to ring. But every interval, I can glance through to see where I have missed calls. Even now that we're having this paper, my phone is on this. I have about 3 or 4 calls have come in. I will glance through and cut it. At times I'll cut them off. So you must have that. You must gather that willpower to do that. If you don't have the willpower to do that, then it's later you switch off because somebody can bring a family meeting, a family discussion, something supposed to do in the evening or in the night after work. Then they will bring it to distract you. Yes. And it becomes a problem.
Well, thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for the question. Do you have any other person before we take the closing remark, then followed by the closing prayer? All right, if we don't have any other question again, I want to quickly remind us that for those of us who are inducted as a fellow for Institute of Professional Managers, you are to use the signatory letters FIPMA, fellows, FIPMA. While full members, you use MIPMA, member, Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators of Nigeria, MIPMA. While those for associates, we use AIPMA, AIPMA. And for those under the certification of African Institute of Strategic Managers, the fellow, you use FAISM, FAISM. While full member, use MAISM, MAISM, and associate is AAISM, AAISM. So we are drawing closer to the end of the induction, and on this note now, we are going to take the closing remark, followed by the closing prayer. And on that note, please, Mrs. Alebio Shutoluwanimi, if you can hear me, ma. Mrs. Alebio, can you hear me, ma? Remark, please.
Okay. Done. It is done.
Assalamu alaikum. Okay. Let me unmute everyone. Sorry for the interruption.
Please give us the closing prayer.
Everlasting, let us pray.
Okay.
Everlasting Father, Ancient of Days, we thank you for a time like this. Thank you, O Lord, for this opportunity you have given unto them, to us, all the inductees, and even the convener of this particular program. Father, we thank you for our lives and our individual families. Be thou exalted, O Lord, in Jesus' name. Thank you for that which you have been able to learn today, because it's an eye-opener, it's an insight that we know will help us in our professional career. Father, thank you for our lives. Father, we thank you even for the vessel that you have used to deliver today's lecture. He has really marshaled this particular topic, was able to handle it well. We thank you for his life and what you are using him for. Father, we thank you even for the Institute and what the Institute is doing for professional managers. Father, be thou exalted in Jesus' name. Father, we pray for greater height for the Institute. And we pray, oh Lord, that each and every one of us will be able to put this, what we have learned, to use, and will be good ambassador of the Institute in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Father, for in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Thank you so much for the closing prayer. And remember to be a good ambassador of the Institute, just like the registrar said, that the mandate given to the Institute is to admit people by experience and qualification, pending when we attain the target number given to us, which is 10,000 members. After that, we can now proceed to the National Assembly for an act of chartership of the Institute. So please share the good news, what we are doing here, with your friends and colleagues, for them to also seize the opportunity of the direct professional membership admission. Thank you all. And once again, I want to say a big congratulations to you all. And remember to stay safe wherever you are. And we shall all defeat COVID-19. And don't forget, if you want a year prosperity, you grow grains. 10 years prosperity, grow trees, and 100 years prosperity, grow people. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
I
much.
appreciate
So please, when do you expect our certificate of participation and registration?
The certificate unfailingly by Monday, Tuesday, you receive a call. It's going to be sent to your various locations. Those in Lagos, it will be sent to our contact person there, and the person will give you a call. Those of you in Abuja, if you have a chance, you can pick them up at our office at number 16, Cotonou Street.
Yes. Okay, please, observation, please.
All right.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate every one of us, some of us, the inductees, the new ones, and the registrar and every other person that have contributed to the great achievement that has just happened. Actually, last week I was at your office at the Cotonou, office. I made an observation, which I also, tender it before the staff I met in the office. So I think it would be better if we have at least a signpost that will at least advertise or make it more, viable or visible for people to know that, yes, such an office is existing somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that wonderful observation, sir. It's noted, and we are going to work towards that. Thank you, sir. All right.
Induction, do we have anything like maybe bags or portfolio or whatever that can identify that?
Everything will be packaged alongside with your certificate.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And then I learned another induction is still coming on the 8th.
On 8th of
supplementary
August, yeah.
What about some of us that are in JOS, like myself?
There's no problem. It will be. We have a contact person in JOS. If we are sending it to the person, we'll let you know. If it's you, we are sending it to direct. We'll let you know.
Okay.
Whichever way. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, sir.
All right.
Okay. Like some of us that are participating today, though the letter I got when I applied supposed to be on the 8th of August. So is there any other need of me participating in that one again, since everything has been put together?
No, there's no need. There's no need for that. It's still the same thing. So what you just do, the person you have been in contact with will call you regarding your certificate as well.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir.
I have a question here, please.
Ma, go ahead.
Yes. Sir, please, does the same thing, the same rule applies to those of us in Ibadan? How do we get our own concern?
Yes, for those in Ibadan, we are going to call you and it will be sent directly to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this old form, where do we send it to?
The old form, you can send it via the same mail we use in sending you the documents.
Okay.
Just write your name, you sign with today's date and scan back to us.
It's done already.
All right.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, ma.
You're welcome.
All right. All right.
Bye-bye.